Welcome to Ladies Talk Show. This is your host, Leah Richheimer. We are on chapter 11, page 277, and we are having an amazing, amazing time. Get your questions ready. info@ladiestalkshow.com. Send in your questions. Here's the thing, ladies. We are working very hard on getting back to harmony in our marriages, and it's working. We're getting some really good feedback on emails, and we got some work to do. And right today, we're going to cover bearing a grudge. Are you ready? Ready? Yeah? Okay, good. Okay, here we go. Bearing a grudge. There's an urgent and crucial reason that we must work on our forgiveness muscle. It is a direct commandment from God. You shall neither take revenge nor bear a grudge against the members of your people. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am Hashem. While we might feel that it is annoying to feel angry at someone, or perhaps not very productive, in reality, it is forbidden to bear a grudge. That means being upset with your husband for denting the car last year, or staying mad because he always makes you late, or recalling the time he arrived home late from a Purim Suda, worrying you sick, are forbidden reactions. We are halakhically obligated to find a way to get over it. Whether that means we just decide to simply let it go, or whether we have a 4-hour discussion to explain our feelings, to gain sympathy or understanding, to see our husband's perspective, and to come up with a plan to avoid future infractions, we cannot continue to hold on to the hurt indefinitely. This is our mandate, and while it may take time and be challenging in the extreme, we do not have the luxury of shirking this obligation. Further, this mandate includes bearing a grudge against ourselves. So many of my students beat themselves up mercilessly about past mistakes, bad decisions, and thoughtless actions. They never even recognize that this is wrong. But lo and behold, we are divinely obligated to forgive ourselves. We need to learn to be compassionate to ourselves and to work hard to let go of our grudges that we have against ourselves. Journaling about this can be helpful, or discussing it with a close friend, but identifying each self-grudge and then letting each one go can create a whole new level of serenity in our lives. Understanding that we are halakhically obligated to forgive hopefully puts a completely new perspective on the onerous task of forgiving. After all, we wouldn't knowingly ignore any other commandment, and this one has incredibly immediate results. We feel so much closer to our husband. Cleaning under the rug. The amazing news is that we are a lot closer to harmony than we may think. Awareness is half the battle, and once we recognize that lumps under the rug are not okay, we gain the power to remove them. The steps are fairly straightforward, and the motivation to make the effort will increase over time as we feel the rush of joy and harmony available to us when the rug is lying blessedly flat. The question is, how do we get to that harmony and, most importantly, maintain it? In just a few weeks or months, we have the power to let go of all of our old resentments and begin a whole new life of closeness with our husbands. Even though harmony maintenance takes a bit of effort, once you have cleaned all of the old stuff out from under the rug and learned how to maintain that state, it does get much easier over time. And by reducing or eliminating our desire to gather evidence against our husband, our contentment will increase exponentially. Further, the benefits in closeness and happiness that we felt just by getting to a clean slate will hopefully be extremely motivating for us to continue on this beautiful path. Meanwhile, try not to waste your time feeling badly about how you may have treated your husband in the past. Regret can often be a dark tunnel with no light at the end. If regret helps to motivate you to do better, fine. But for the most part, my students have the best success by continually looking forward and working on how they treat their husband daily, starting right now. Keep in mind, as in most every issue in this book, that we concentrate on issues only as they relate to our husband. Don't try to come to harmony in every relationship in your life. It's simply taking on too much at once. Just focus on your marriage. Perhaps the other relationships may reap benefits of your newfound muscles, but that should not be your prime objective. So, does harmony really exist? The answer is most definitely yes, but counterintuitively, harmony does take a lot of work. Every lump in the rug needs to be swept out, examined, and disposed of once and for all in order to get to a clean slate. Some of my students have so much built-in up resentments against their husbands that it feels like a giant mountain, making it hard to take that first step. But once they start, the payoffs are enough to keep them motivated. And then, as issues arise, they can take care of them much more efficiently. By making harmony into the top priority of our life and removing all of the lumps, we can truly gain much tranquility. As you will see, Hashem has laid out beautiful guidelines that are designed to maximize our closeness with our husband, heal all of our wounds, and keep the dirt cleaned out from under our rug. The fastest way to do this is by following our Masorah from the Torah regarding forgiveness. Most people think that managing their forgiveness is something they do as a kindness to those around them. As we will see, the very first beneficiary of this work is ourselves. The ultimate way you will know that you have arrived at harmony is that your baseline level of anger and resentment will be greatly diminished, and you will be on a clear and direct path toward improving it every single day. Your mastery over your own grudges will improve, and as a consequence, you will feel that much closer to your husband. The warmth and serenity available there are quite astounding. Perhaps by this point in the book, your husband has risen to the top of your priority list, and for that you should be proud. But understand, without relentless determination to maintain harmony, it cannot and will not happen by itself. I will walk you through the steps, but only you have the power to make it happen. The choice is in your hands alone. Okay, guys, I'm ready for your questions. Go.
Okay, we got some great questions coming in. Racheli's asking, I find that I can work on my anger towards my husband, but I will still feel upset. The anger I can let go of, but the hurt I can't seem to. Why is this, and what can I do?
Said that the anger she can let go of, but the hurt she can't?
Yeah, she still has like the residual pain in her heart.
So, without sitting with you personally, the only thing I'm thinking of is that if a person does not have a relationship with their parents that is full of forgiveness, meaning you have a closeness because you're not bearing like 10 different grudges against your parents. Okay. Most people have a lot of grudges against their parents and this wrong and that, and they didn't love me enough. They didn't, whatever. A lot of people carry a lot of baggage from their child origin. And I guess that's how Hashem created the world, because that's the way it is. But I would first look into introspect in your, why is it when you're forgiving him? Is it just, you just don't have the logistic data points, and the data is when you forgive, you forget, that's it, finished, move on? Is it because you've got bad habits, or is it because you learned from your childhood, from your relationship with your parents, that you're still carrying so many grudges and so much baggage from it that you find it hard to let go of any baggage from your husband? I'm not sure that your lack of ability to forgive him fully is your fault, your husband's fault, or your parents' fault. I don't know. And it almost doesn't even matter. But introspecting about that and looking at that might help you to recognize what your obstacles are to full-hearted forgiveness. That would be the first place I would start, is do some introspection there. The second thing I would do is take the action of maybe writing on a big card or on a Post-it note or whatever that says, once you forgive, you're obligated to forget. Once you forgive, you're obligated to forget. Once you forgive, you're obligated to forget. And just keep repeating that mantra to yourself, so that when they do come back to haunt you, right? They come after you to haunt you, you can just say that mantra to yourself. And that's kind of taking a stand against your, it's your neshama taking a stand against your guf from tripping you up, or against the Yetzer Hara from stopping you from that closeness to your husband. So again, there's work to do for this, but it's very, very clear. Number one, your understanding of this and your determination to get on the other side of it, you're recognizing the problem. Your recognition of the problem is a powerful, powerful step, and you should feel very proud about that. And then using these other tricks and techniques and introspection and actions will hopefully get you onto the other side of it. Good luck with it. You should have koyach for it, and you should see the payoff of it with your own eyes. Okay, very good. What you got, Gila?
Okay. Jordana's asking, I try so hard to let things go, but sometimes my husband accidentally repeats the same mistakes, and I can't help but feel like all the hurt and anger come rushing back. Does that mean I bear a grudge against him?
Yes. It does. It does. It means that well, you haven't forgiven and forgotten. You've forgiven and are ready to pounce. So I hear. So look, there's not much anyone can do about huge rushes of anger, right? They kind of take over you. It's not the, I don't know that you'll be able, maybe at some point in one's life, one could get to a place where you stop the rush of anger, but there's certainly a lot you can do when you feel the rush of anger. So when you feel the rush of anger, acknowledging and saying, oh, I'm feeling a rush of anger. This is a way I used to be my whole life. I used to be that person who would have a rush of anger and then let everybody have it, or let my husband have it, or let it pour through my veins. Now I'm the person, I recognize the rush of anger and I run out of the house screaming and jump in the swimming pool. Or that's my sign that I need a piece of chocolate, that's my sign that I just need to run to the nearest ladies' room. No one's going to argue. Oh, I got to go to the ladies' room. Run to the nearest ladies' room, close the door and take 20 deep breaths, 10 deep breaths, whatever works for you, So how you react to these triggers, you're being triggered, right? How you react to these triggers are you a person with, all over the place, or are you a person with mastery? And you might be a person who's all over the place. So raise your hand. We all are, certain things. So you want to be growing yourself to being a person of having mastery over those emotions. And that, if you play that out in your head and all you need is like 3, 5, 7 examples of actually mastery over that rush of anger when it comes, till it becomes ingrained in you, and you that pride of being able to do that, and the closeness that it creates in your relationship, your marriage, and all your relationships. The closeness that it creates will, God willing, give you motivation and that'll be a lot of juice you'll be getting for having mastery over yourself. So I wish you a lot of luck with it. And the fact that you recognize the problem and ask this question, good on you. Okay, good. What else you got, Keela?
Okay. Mimi's asking, my husband is quick to apologize, but doesn't like when I want to discuss what he did that hurt me or upset me in detail. He says he just feels like when I do that, I put him down too much. But it's hard for me to let go of my pain completely if I don't fully discuss all of my feelings about it. What should I do?
Well, without hearing what you're saying, I would say that most women, myself included, but don't tell anybody. Most women, when they are hurt about something, they want to, tell it in excruciating detail. And not only did you say that made me feel bad, but then you embarrassed me in front of everybody else. And it reminded me of when I went, that incident I told you when I was in kindergarten, when so-and-so embarrassed me. And they will heap and heap and heap. Other people do this. I've heard other people, not that I know of this personally, but anyway, just heaping and heaping and heaping and heaping. And that really, really, besides being not productive, it's not nice. It's really like if someone did that to you, like let's say you did something wrong. Let's say you screamed your head off, right? And your husband said, you really hurt the kid's feelings, and how can we make it up to them so they don't feel safe in the home anymore? And you're like, oh, that's true. And they said, and also you do that all the time, and you like it goes from like something you feel like, oh yeah, I want to do something about that, and I'd like to do something about that. Let's figure out what I can do about that. To you've gone from that to now it's just too big of a problem. They just keep heaping and heaping. So it could be that you're heaping so much on your husband in one go that you're just smothering any hope he might have of wanting to help you or be there for you. And just all you have to do is put the shoe on the other foot. And then perhaps you'll say, you want to know the nicest correction I ever got is somebody said to me something, I'm making this up because it was, but I still remember where I was standing when they said it. I don't remember all the details, but remember they said something like, you blah, 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 you're so wonderful, and you this and you that and whatever, like 10 compliments. And then they said, I recognize that, let's say it was, you interrupt people, and they were correcting me on it. But I do realize that you're so, instead of saying you interrupt people all the time, you're a jerk. It was like, I realize you're so exuberant about your thinking that sometimes if another person wants to speak, they don't feel comfortable doing so, but blah blah blah, and then did other compliments. It was like so gewaltig, really. Some of the, so for you, think seriously before you talk to your husband about any of the things that you hold near and dear or that are important. Before you do that, think about how can I say it to him in a way that he can really hear it. And by the way, we did cover a whole section in Marriage Secrets on communication, not what to say, but how to say it, so it would be good to review that. We also have a communication course you could take on www.ladiestalkshow.com that talks about communication for results, right? That's what, so, and the results are closeness. So, that's something else you could do. So I hope that addresses your issues. It could have gone very different ways. I didn't have enough information, but that was basically the bottom line and how to make sure that you're getting getting heard, but in a way that can actually be heard. Okay, very, very good.
Okay, so Yehuda says, I find that I clean the lumps, but when my husband goes and does something again, and then my husband goes and does something again. Is there a formula for keeping the lumps out altogether?
Right,
he wants smooth sailing.
Right. I'll be able to dance on the carpet without tripping. Okay. So yes, very, very good. I'm totally with you. The issue is we're going to get to a whole maintenance section, so we'll get you guessed what's coming up. So we are going to talk about maintenance. You want to first clean all the lumps out of the carpet, and get to harmony of all the other things and get them resented, and then your husband's for the rest of your life. Sorry. So the good news and the bad news. The bad news is for the rest of your life, there's going to be stuff that comes under the carpet. The good news is now you have the tools to maintain it. So we are going to go through exactly the maintenance process, but it's just ongoing. And as he gets to know you better, and as you, again, if you're listening to him and he is able to tell you, what he wants, and, and you're sharing in your growth curve of, needs change. And he's saying, I know you used to do this, but what I'd really like is that, like that, as you're trying your hardest to keep up with taking care of him as best as you can, and he's doing the same with you, there's still going to be stuff, new things came up, or an old thing. He's going to do something he hadn't done for 8 years. And you'd be like, how could you? Like, we've come this far. How could you? How it upsets me when you put me down in front of my mother-in-law and whatever. And we had endless discussions about it. I'm so hurt, fine. I get it. I get it. So you got to share all the feelings with him. Again, not piling, but tell him what hurt you and whatever, and give him a chance to say he's sorry. So many times women are yelling and screaming at their husbands so much that their husband doesn't get a chance to say, okay, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry, or they back him into a corner so much that he has to get defensive and say, no, you took it the wrong way and you're too sensitive and whatever, because they haven't given him the space to be able to apologize. So just keep all of that in mind and recognize that this is for the rest of our lives. And good luck. Good luck. Now at least you have some tools. That's the good news. And we'll give you more next week. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for being here. This is Leah Richheimer for the Ladies Talk Show. Let me give you your homework. Hold on a second. One time this week, when you are feeling that anger or a rush of resentment, or your husband did something that, whatever, just freeze. Just freeze. Notice what's happening. The homework isn't to do anything different. Just recognize it. That's a big, big step. That's like half the battle. Okay, this is Leah Richheimer. We'll see you next time.